companies do to put a stop to single-use plastics without harming margins? And are today's plastic alternatives any better? According to Ellen MacArthur Foundation, globally replacing just 20% of single-use plastic packaging with reusable alternatives offers an opportunity worth close to 10 billion US dollars. So definitely there is a business opportunity for companies to switch or make the switch to from single-use plastics. Some of those methods can be very cost effective, and companies can achieve that without much of an effort. So if you actually break it down, the first thing would be to kind of look at the design of the product or the package. There are a lot of single-use plastics which are used unnecessarily on products and packaging nowadays, which actually don't serve much of a purpose. You have definitely kind of gone through a grocery store and you can see some of the packaging for food products, which are dry, but they do have an additional single-use plastic coverings. One of the examples which you can see is like for tea bags. You can actually see a plastic covering which actually serves no purpose, but these actually end up in the landfill. One of the examples which you can see where companies made that switch is in the case of Barilla. You can see where in old Barilla packages used to have a cutout with a single-use plastic covering the cutout to show the product inside. They found that in their study made it very difficult for those packets to be recycled, mainly because of the presence of that single-use plastic. So they did a switch. They eliminated the plastic. They made it a whole carton box, and with the product picture on the outside. This simple change can made a tremendous impact on the use of that single-use plastic and made the whole packet recyclable. So there are small changes like this companies can do. Another one would be like in terms of household cleaning products. So if you actually make the package which you deliver these products reusable and supply, for example, tablets where consumers can fill in the water and reuse the packet, that actually eliminates a lot of those single-use plastics with in terms of labeling, with terms of actual product itself. So simple changes like this go a long way in eliminating some of these usages, and that starts with the design and kind of rethinking the design and to kind of make it more environmental friendly. The second option is with respect to materials. You can see a lot of these companies are switching to cardboard, paper, or aluminum. Some of these products which are available, like for example, water in some of the European countries are now actually delivered in aluminum cans, which are having a much higher recyclability rate than plastic alternatives. So switching to some of these alternate materials definitely can eliminate the use of single-use plastic. Some of the examples you can actually see is in terms of promotional materials. You actually see different products or different SKUs kind of combined together in order to make a promotional product. Usually or typically they are combined using a single-use wrapping. These can be eliminated easily by kind of having a cardboard kind of an outer or tertiary kind of packaging material. For example, soft drink cans, they come with single-use plastic, which kind of holds the 6 packs together or combination of packs together. These are definitely harmful, not only for in terms of the use of the single-use plastic on in landfills and stuff like that, but ultimately these actually wash into the oceans and cause real harmful effects for marine life. So these are the things which companies can definitely look into in terms of switching from single-use plastic. Also, there are a lot of alternatives out there in terms of eliminating some of the packaging, making, especially in terms of food, having like edible packaging, dissolvable packaging. So definitely companies can look into in terms of that, in terms of eliminating single-use plastic. So that covers our design, the materials, and the last one is with respect to the ecosystem. So companies can definitely look into their suppliers in terms of innovative packaging for tackling the single-use plastic. There are a lot of usage of single-use plastic also in terms of B2B, where raw materials are transported to that facility. Most of these are wraps, which are going on tops of pallets and stuff like that, which also kind of ends up in landfill because there is no particular recycling channel for recycling these materials. So definitely working with suppliers in order to eliminate that, making more reusable containers like reusable pallets, structures which are helping transport these materials, definitely can eliminate some of those things. And then when in terms of ecosystem, they can look into also making sure that the product they come out with by elimination of these single-use plastic communicates with the consumer in terms of the reason for making the change. So let's say if you have a product and you have eliminated some kind of single-use plastic outing in terms of labeling, but the package doesn't appeal to the consumer. But if you have proper education to the consumer or kind of a communication to the consumer in terms of why the customer they have made the change, that definitely will be appealing to the consumer and can definitely kind of drive more sales. So these kind of measures, which are not that cost intensive, can be definitely kind of followed in terms of making the change. Now, the second part of the question is with respect to the different plastic alternatives. So there are lots of plastic alternatives which are available there, starting with biodegradable. So this is, you can see some of the packaging material available out there with the term biodegradable there. Definitely have environmental benefits, but there is a catch to it because some of these biodegradable need proper conditions in order to make them biodegradable. So these might not be available in the local facilities or waste management facilities in order to kind of make that happen. And if it doesn't, it ultimately ends up in the landfill. Compostable plastic, much with the same along the lines of bioplastics, mainly because they are compostable in certain conditions. So you need to kind of make sure that the weather conditions are suitable for these kind of things to happen with respect to compostable are taken into account. Also the demographics, so for example, in an urban setting, there might be lack of facilities to properly make them compostable. So all these kind of study needs to be done in order to properly introduce these kind of packaging in the products. Paper and cardboard, definitely a wonderful alternative for single-use plastics, but care needs to be taken in terms of how these products are interacting with the product inside, or the package is interacting with the product when it comes to food and beverage. Basically, some of the plastic layerings are used to kind of prolong the shelf life. So care needs to be taken in terms of replacing them with paper and cardboard. And also, if you are actually applying some kind of a layer to protect the food or the product, and they need to consider whether adding those layers will affect the recyclability of the paper and product and cardboard, etc. So definitely an alternative, but care needs to be taken in that case as well. Reusable packaging is another alternative. You could basically make those products more durable and reusable so that you can eliminate the single-use nature of those packaging. So definitely a choice that needs to be looked into, but it also has implications on now you have additional methodologies on delivering your product when it comes to reusable by means of tablets or solutions or concentrates. So you need to kind of look into those aspects as well while considering reusable packaging. The last one is plant-based. These are also an alternative that can be explored. However, care needs to be taken because some of these materials are sourced from food crops, for example, sugarcane. So the primary purpose of those crops are for food. So kind of using the same land and water in terms of you having those crops suitable for making these plant-based packaging we need to kind of make sure that the balance is actually kept and all the local regulations are actually taken into consideration while sourcing these materials. So definitely cleaner alternatives are there. Companies need to explore. There are a lot of considerations that need to be made in terms of switching away from single-use plastic.